my friend, and welcome back. Today I want to talk about trusting yourself. And this kind of piggybacks off of yesterday's video about what to do when the universe is not sending you the signs that you asked for. And this is kind of like that part B, that kind of continuation of that. And I want to talk about trusting yourself because when you are asking for, help and signs from the divine, that is like, it is okay, and we are here as a team, and we have guides and angels and, all kinds of divine spirits around us that are here to specifically help us on this journey. So I am not negating any of that whatsoever at all. What I do want to say, though, is that when you are doing something like asking for a sign, show me a teddy bear if I need to be doing this, or, the color green means this and the color red means this, you are still kind of putting faith in the external world. You are kind of still seeking, is the better word, not putting faith, but seeking externally. And from our talks, from our videos, we have come to learn that when you are seeking externally, you will kind of always be seeking, because that is not where the true answers lie. The true answers lie and come from within. And so when you are looking for a physical sign or something like that, think about it. You are looking outward. And when you do that, you are still kind of putting that control into, for lack of better words, someone else's hands. And when we do that, that's when we open ourselves up to that suffrage. And let's take my example. Yesterday, I was asking for a sign that I had already gotten, but I just really wanted to be sure. I just really wanted an extra little validation, and I wasn't seeing it and I wasn't getting it. And it was discouraging, and of course, my mind and my thoughts are snowballing, and it just going out of control. And what I'm coming to realize, and what the message for that I wanted to deliver today, and just so you know, sometimes the subjects for the videos most of the time will come to me during my morning meditation. And that is what happened this morning. I just got a hit. It was trust yourself. And I was like, ooh, that's my video this morning. That's the message that I most need to hear today. Let's, see what kind of inspired message that I can deliver around trusting yourself today. So, coming from within and trusting yourself is going to be one of the only ways that you can be, or that you should be, really certain of things. And that doesn't mean that, oh, I was so sure of this, and then this happened. So when something like that happens, that creates doubt within ourselves. And then, it's just maybe I didn't really know. And that is true, because, things are always changing, and maybe you didn't really know, especially when, I don't want to say that I'm afraid, but I try not to ever be dogmatic about something. Try never to be well, this is exactly the way it is, and this is the way it should be. Because who knows? Maybe I'm out of my freaking mind and I don't know anything, Or maybe things were just constantly changing so much that what I knew one day is not what I know the next. Or, when you know something, you are coming from a limited view, but then when you open that view a little bit, you can kind of be I see other things. So that is not necessarily a bad thing. Being wrong about something is not bad. The only reason you feel it is bad is because that is your judgment of that. What if you had to make that decision because in 10 years from now it created a ripple that is going to bring you exactly what you want, but you have no idea because you can't see the future and you don't have that aerial view like the divine does, but the divine does have that aerial view. So they're like, the divine is constantly coordinating and conspiring in your favor for your purpose on this planet, the purpose of learning and growing and evolving. Because even if you have, say you found your purpose is to, I don't know, be a life coach. This is my purpose, and you become so dogmatic in it. This is my purpose. This helps people. Everyone needs a life coach. This and that. So what happens when you wake up and all of the sudden the career that you so identified yourself with, you don't want to do anymore? For some reason, that fire isn't lit by that anymore. It can send you spiraling into a complete identity crisis. This was my purpose. This is why I was here on this planet. And all of a sudden, it's not doing it for me anymore. Do I continue to push and continue doing it? Yeah, maybe for a little while. But if you do it for a little while and you're still like, it's not doing this for me anymore. You can create a lot of suffrage if you are extremely set and dogmatic in that way of, this is the way I need to be. This is the way my life needs to be. So life a lot of times will teach you that lesson of not being so cut and dry, of showing you that life isn't exactly black and white, and life is ever changing. Remember, change is not the spice of life. Change is life. No moment is ever exactly like the moment before. And, anytime you need to remember remind yourself of that, just remember, you're never breathing in the same air. Your body, the actual cells that create your body are always being rebirthed and dying and being healed and always in a constant state of transition. Therefore, we are always in a constant state of transition. And getting back to trusting yourself, you can be like, oh, well, how can I trust myself when things are always changing and I don't know? It's about the moment to moment. It's about the right now. Let's go back to my example. So I was asking for this sign. I'm like, but when I was reflecting on what I was asking the sign for, this or just maybe like a no for this, I know in my heart that I want that sign to pop up because that is the answer that I want, because that is the path that I feel in my heart is best for me to go down right now. And getting a sign in the physical world does not feel as reassuring. It is reassuring, but it doesn't feel as reassuring of knowing something in your heart and in your gut. And like I said, it's okay to ask for those outward signs, but sometimes you don't get those signs, not because it's a no, not because that's not the right thing for you, but it's because the divine is saying, go within. Ask yourself, what is your gut telling you? What is your heart telling you? Get quiet. Quiet the mind. Quiet the thinking mind. And really, really get deep down within yourself. And what are you telling yourself right now that is right? So sometimes the divine needs to remind us that yes, we are here as part of a team. However, we are the quarterback, okay? And when we are in life and that play starts and we need to make that decision, it's like, oh, our plan went to shit. And because, we're playing against another team and it's unpredictable and they knew what we were going to do, and now I have to change and pivot right in this moment. I'm not able to talk to the coach. I'm not able to huddle with my team. I need to make this decision right now, in this moment, in this split second. You have to sometimes make that decision. And I want to talk about that presence. So taking out the life example, and let's actually go into the football. Let's actually go into that moment where the quarterback needs to take that shot. And, he doesn't have time to think about it. But remember, your inner self, that inner knowing, your heart, your soul does not exist in time. So you may think, say, and that quarterback chucks up that Hail Mary, and how did he make that decision? How did he know that that person was going to be there and he was going to be able to catch that? And how was he able to do that in the split second? It's because that was a channeled thing. That came from the divine. And you may be like, well, football's not spiritual. Don't you think it's only your judgment to it that makes it not spiritual? When that quarterback throws it up and throws up the Hail Mary and makes the wide receiver makes the game-winning touchdown, and that sparks so much joy in all of the fans around the world, how is that not spiritual? That is light being burst into all of those people. The crowd's going wild, the team's going wild. Those moments of joy is sparking light and putting out those light ripples. So how could we think that that is not spiritual? So going back to how did he make that decision? How did he know what was going to happen? Well, when we are hyper present, which happens a lot when we are under pressure, our thinking mind a lot of times will step out. Because your thinking mind needs a few seconds. I think someone told me once, your ego, your thinking mind, takes about 4 to 5 seconds to process and then kick in. But 4 to 5 seconds is not what this quarterback has. That's instant. He's watching the play that they were gonna carry out, I don't really know the words, dissolve right in front of his face. And someone's coming at him to tackle him, and he's got a split second to make that decision of where to put that ball. And he can put that ball anywhere, like Vince Vaughn says. So it is his heart, it is his soul, it is the divine that does not exist in time. So to us as humans, we're like, oh my God, it was so quick. He did it in a split second. And the divine just laughs. And not at us, but just laughs like humans exist in time, but spirits don't exist in time. There is no time. There is no space. So that instant decision isn't actually as instant and as quick as you think. And that is why the divine sometimes will instantly give you answers. And that is why when you are hyper present and you're able to quiet that thinking mind, because the thinking mind can't even keep up in that moment, the quarterback is able to just trust his instincts and just launch that ball. And we are able to do that too. I mean, even if you think about a reflex, has something ever fallen off the counter that you've caught? Or, another instant of you having like an instant reflex? That is not your thinking mind. That is not your brain saying, oh, something is falling. Hand, move to catch that. Your mind can't function that fast. That is your soul. That is the divine with that instant reaction. Because it's not instant to the divine, because there is no time to the divine. So to the divine, that thing could be like in slow motion, like, and then being caught. Do you like that example? That is why I want to encourage us to go within and to trust yourself. And I'm not saying to go with every impulse and every different thing, but trust yourself that if you're ever in a position that you need to make an instant decision, you know what I mean? You find yourself in the Super Bowl and your play is falling apart and you're the quarterback of the team and you need to launch that ball, trust yourself. You're going to be able to do it. Going back to everyday decisions, it is okay to think about it. It is okay. But in that same way of quieting the mind, whether that's in meditation, whether that is walking in nature, whatever it is for you that you're able to do to become hyper present, then to ask yourself, and then to go within and to ask, what is the best thing for me? What is this decision? What is the best thing? And then you end up with that knowing feeling in your heart. I want you to trust it. Because, and sometimes I feel like you'll know it's that knowing feeling in your heart because in like 5 seconds you'll hear the mind chatter. Well, maybe it won't work out. Well, maybe this will happen. Well, what if, what if, what if, what if, what if? And then you'll know, you'll be able to feel that difference of the thinking mind versus your heart. Because your heart doesn't have that chatter. Your heart doesn't have that what if. Because what you feel in your heart and gut comes from the divine. It comes from your inner self, your higher self. That part of you, that aspect of you that because there is no time is already in the future and is already living out what you want. So they're going to be like, well, we're going to give you that little feeling in your gut that's going to help steer you into the direction that you need to be going in. Your heart is never going to come from a fear or lack-based place. That is your mind. And I'm not saying don't listen to it, don't have fear. Of course, consider those things. Remember, your ego is here to serve you and to keep you safe. So, hear it out, but don't act on it like it's the end all be all. Because remember, fear comes from a place of lack, and we are abundant beings. So if we continue to put out a fearful vibration, we will have an abundance of fear. You know, we will have an abundance of those feelings. But if you were to look fear in the face, sometimes you can give it a little hug, say, what's your message for me? And the fear said, and they're like, well, I just want you to be aware that a couple different things can happen. Be like, okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for that. I will definitely take that into consideration. And then you can consider those things. And it may open your eyes to a few different things that your eyes haven't been open to before. But when you have that inner knowing and you have that feeling in your gut, you can listen to those fears and then you can decide to put them aside and to say, my heart is telling me this and I'm going to trust it. And I'm just going to move forward in this way and I'm going to throw it up to God. I'm going to throw it up to the divine, and I know that the chips are going to fall perfectly in my favor because life is always working out for my highest good. The divine is always conspiring in my favor. Let's believe that, because that is the truth. And I don't want to be dogmatic about that because, you know, who knows what's going to happen, but I feel that in my heart. I feel that truth in my heart, and I'm going to trust that truth, and I'm going to go with that. And I am going to continue to work on trusting myself. I am going to still ask for signs. Don't think I won't, but I am going to move forward trusting my gut, trusting that inner knowing, because that is also from the divine. That is also from the guides. That is also from the angels. So, that is our message for today. I want to thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Anne, and I hope to see you tomorrow.